Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday encounter in ordinary life of an Aspie. As you're fully aware, if you're following my channel right now, I am doing the addiction series, as I said, because I felt in my heart and being right now to share with you all, hopefully, some knowledge and know-how, as well as maybe just some information that may be of help to you guys or just someone out there that you love and care about. So hopefully that you can reach out to them when you know the signs and symptoms of these addictions and more that I'm going to bring in as series pieces sort of thing. And all further ado, as you're fully aware, in these parts so far I have covered in part 1 what is addiction, you know, basically the definitions, and then those 3 C's basically, which were the compulsive use, loss of control, and continued use. And then I also mentioned, I think in that piece, like operant conditioning learning style versus classical conditioning style, the differentiation between that of the definition. Part 2, however, was basically also, or actually shall we say, the one that I was hoping to add in basically when I was trying to cut these two into the part 1 into another one, was basically how someone can get addicted, and also the 2 cycles, the buzz and escape, which hopefully, like I said, will come in the piece with the diagrams later on. And part 2 was the type of addictions, signs of addictions, pretty much, as I said, with these types of addictions that I'm bringing out to you in part 2, like here's some examples there of the classical ones that I mentioned in the piece that hopefully maybe I can talk in depth about this. And basically now I'm hoping to talk about, basically this can be either part 4 or 5. I'm getting a bit mixed up here, but I'm sorry about this. I'm trying to recall everything in my mind, as I said, basically, so I can address these issues that are important to me and maybe to others out there, basically, because some of this needs to be dealt with and actually creating an awareness and understanding, despite, like I said, that this is a health and science kind of channel with tips and advice and everything in between, that I want to support and encourage you all, as well as basically to just give you the heads up to what is needed, because in this day and age I've noticed that, you know, when I have been in the youth line training, that many teens as well do have their struggles, be it whatever, they try to blend to fit in, they have their struggles of basically peer pressure, they have their struggles of, you know, facing maybe their family member or loved one with these form of addictions that I'm bringing out in this piece, or they're probably addicted to something too, and sometimes it's a cry for help, sometimes in some ways for the young ones too. And I believe that despite these young ones that are going through these stages and phases in life of these situations, hopefully there is a way that they can break free from it, break these chains by their choices, hopefully of the right ones, that they don't want to be like the ones that they're around. So in order for the do, this is the tips and advice of what you can do, hopefully, for basically your loved one or yourself or just anyone in general, pretty much. As we know that we got to remember there are a number of things a loved one can do to help their family, friend, colleague and the like that has a problem with a substance or some sort of addiction activity. Okay, and they are as follows. Number 1, express your concern for the individual in a non-judgmental way, in a sensitive manner, because as I said before, we need to be aware of what's going on, and also we need to be aware of what we're saying to them and tread carefully, so that hopefully we're not going about it the wrong way. Even though many people think it's too PC these days how we go about approaching someone else on the street, be it our loved one, be it someone we may not even know, to just help them when they do ask for that help, even though it's their choice factor if they want to get the help to either change or break free from their habits or whatever that needs to be changed. As I said so many times before, change can be good, sort of thing, regardless of what's going on around us, that, you know, the test of time, certain situations do test us throughout. Anyway, and this one of the number 1 factor of express your concern for the individual in a non-judgmental instead of manner, you got to be aware that you got to avoid making that particular someone feeling guilty, you know, about that form of addiction or the type of behaviour that they're producing towards you through that addiction. Because this pretty much, to me, how I look at it, it can increase cravings, more cravings, and they'll just keep on at it, you know, feeding that addiction, regardless if it's a drug addiction, the alcohol addiction and the like, as well as basically keep feeding the cycle pattern of that addiction. And sometimes once that cycle begins, sometimes it's hard to break free from it, but you know, you just got to remember that no matter what, you know, somewhere along the way they will bound to want to know what's going on, sort of thing. Avoid punishing, threatening, bribing or pressuring to the individual, because this will also feed their cycle and increase their cravings of their addiction. What you got to do basically on this one, you got to simply just state your concern for them and offer them your support in a non-judgmental and loving way. Like, you could say to them, like, hey, such and such, whoever the name is, I thought to approach you today, basically, because I feel that in my heart that you're struggling with something, and I would like to help you in a way, hopefully, that you'll accept me to help you to, you know, break free from whatever addiction it is, you know. Do not enable their addiction by creating excuses for their behaviour or absence. What I'm meaning here is on that one is many people, until 9 times out of 10, I've noticed, despite their addictions, they think that it's okay to make an excuse, that thinking, okay, that they should feel sorry for them, or basically that the person that isn't feeding the habit of addiction, the one that's helping them, basically feels the need to just, and they have to, just to cover up and say they're okay, when we know in our hearts and beings that they're not. And basically, sometimes it goes with the person that's addicted to that substance or their formal activity that they go about, be it gambling, porn or whatever. Basically, that they make excuses on their own accord as well. Sometimes, as I said, the excuses can lead to maybe, as I said before, fear of change or just the fear of people helping them and fear of breaking the cycle. But it's okay, because obviously it's normal for us to fear what's going to happen, you know, during our time of that cycle of addiction, as I mentioned in the first piece. Do not take over their responsibilities. This is number 4 or 3. I'm giggling at this, sorry, even though this is a serious matter. What I'm saying here is, despite their addiction or activity of that addiction, of that substance and that, we need to be realize that we can't obviously do things for them. It's their time, their choice, you know, amount of time that they need to basically come out of this woodwork and say, hey, I need help, you know. Another one is basically true to the words. Do not hide or take away the substance of choice or activity, as this will disempower the user and may result in the individual using other means to attain the substance or activity. What I'm saying is here, if you hide away something that they're addicted to, be it a form of drug, okay, consequences will follow. They'll get angry, they'll get frustrated, all these mixed feelings and emotions, as they do, you know, with these addictions, and then their outbursts will start saying, you know, swearing, cussing, angry, or whatever the case may be. And to the point where they'll start to get physical with you, obviously, you know, threats comes in, and that, this, which I'm saying here, below this one of number 7, if I'm up to that, if you guys are counting with these bullet points or just points in general, is avoid discussing or arguing with the individual when they're on the high point or in an altered state of mind. Generally, the conversation will have no impact on the user, as they may not remember or understand it. Additionally, there may be some risk from the individual at this stage of their cycle of addiction. What I'm saying is here, though, is obviously I've learnt with someone in the past who was addicted pretty much to a substance that, you know, you can't basically argue with them, because, as we know, arguments won't solve anything. We need to approach the person in a calm, gentle manner, you know, hopefully maybe once they're, you know, fully awake and fully aware of their surroundings, or fully aware of what's going to be about to be explained to them, sort of thing. Also, however, number 8, if this is number 8, look after yourself during this process when you're helping this person with the addiction problem. some people mistake that, like I'm learning now, trying to put myself first, is when people are addicted to a substance or some form of activity, that they think it's okay just to put themselves on the back burner and just keep, you know, supporting the person that is addicted. Looking after ourselves is important as well, because obviously, you know, we need to rejuvenate, we need to renew our minds and so on and so forth, just for the hell of it, so that we are ready to face whatever outcome it may be. Lastly, that I try to remember all the time when I was with somebody in the past is, remember that it's not your fault while this person is addicted to, you know, to a substance or activity, or even it's not our fault if this individual of ours that we love and care about, or just, you know, not ready to change and accept the responsibility that it's their time to change, or they don't want to get better, you know. Because we need to remember that basically we can only support the person we love and they to go through this process that I'm hoping to bring out about the relapse later on, that they are responsible for getting themselves better. Like, what I'm trying to remember is, hopefully, which I'm going to bring out in the piece now, is a useful model in working with people is the stages of change model, which I'm going to hopefully illustrate to you all on this video. That this model suggests to us, or shows us, that when the person that is addicted is attempting to change their habits, either trying to learn some new ones or get rid of some of the old ones, you know, people go through a number of stages and phases through this cycle. At each stage, the person's perspective towards the habit is different. It may require different interventions of some kind through their help, you know, and support networks. Okay, I'm going to try and bring it out now. Is pre-contemplation is when the individual does not believe they have a problem and so does not intend to change. In this case, however, it may be best to gently and sensitively express your concern again for this individual of yours and provide them with the information and actually see if they can see clearer into what you know and sharing with them. Feedback information about the addiction. Explore their views of their addiction, why they're doing it, and what has caused them to actually become addicted to that substance or what have you. Present the benefits of changing themselves, you know, encourage them, support them, never tear them down with negativity, because that goes with everything else in life, obviously, in general, that when we are down and out, we shouldn't, you know, really put people down no matter what. You know, I know some people that does that time and time again still in their day in life, but that's alright. Explore their feelings on the environment, especially those that stresses them out, and work on solving them. Support them and explore how their behaviour affects their problems of whatever it may be that they're facing, not just the addiction or just everyday problems that they're facing, be it, you know, they may have lost their job, be it they may have lost their partner, you know, they got dumped, basically they're trying to probably look for work and they're down and out and they think feeding their habit will solve the problem. Contemplation is when the individual realises there is a problem and they are thinking about the change, however, have not thought of what they could do about it. Here it's important to provide support for the person and help them to develop an idea around their addictions. It is important to reinforce their decision to change and remember any movement towards cutting down can be supported. Recognise the benefits and problems of changing and not changing. How can you decrease the problems within that changing stage of theirs? Encourage commitment to their values and discuss how fighting the addiction may revolve around the values. E.g., if they value their family, how does the addiction align with that? If they value basically their friendships around them, also work around how their addiction aligns with that as well. Explore who they want to be. It's all about exploring themselves, obviously, knowing who they are and what they are as a person, and if they want to change, you know, as I said before time and time again, that many people has a reason and a purpose in this life of what they want to become, and it's up to us in this journey how we're going to go about it. Support their want to change and encourage the belief that life may be better after quitting. In the preparation stage, however, the individual has decided they want to make a change and are figuring out a plan for themselves. It may be useful to make smart goals with the individual, as well as access with short-term and long-term problems and benefits of change, which are goals that are obviously for smart, that I've learned in communications as well as in youth line. specific, measurable, achievable, realistic time frames to improve the likelihood of the individual to succeed. Support the individual in preparing to quit, like helping find a detox center or something to help them break free from it, you know, find something else that will distract them from that addiction. Support the person to create goals and how he or she will stick to them. Encourage them to tell at least one other person about their decision to change, regardless who it may be. It could be someone outside their circle, if you're a family member. Just don't be discouraged if they feel that they can't or don't want to talk to, but just bear in mind that they'll be able to actually find someone that they can trust pretty much in the process of their changing cycle. Action refers to the period where the individual is actively trying to change their behaviour. At this stage, a loved one can provide support for the individual and reinforce any steps towards the change, which means, in this case, support the person in finding alternatives to this addiction of theirs. Support the person with finding ways to avoid or manage high-risk situations. Encourage rewards and self-praise to support the change. It's important to obviously, you know, give high praises and everything despite their downtime and not. Maintenance. Has to maintain the change. Support is essential in the stage. Also, like every time through these stages and phases through this, what I'm sharing, it is important. And it may also benefit the individual. If they find an alternative behaviour to make the function of the substance activity, example here, a person may have used drugs in order to cope with their negative emotions. When quitting drugs, this person may need to find a new way of coping these emotions. Okay, so therefore, basically, how I look at it with the negative emotions, you know, write it to pen and paper, maybe look at them once you're in a calmer state, maybe when you're down and out or something, or what have you, and then when you feel ready to burn them, thinking, okay, I was better than what I was thinking in these negative thinking and emotions right now, you know. Encourage new things and activities for the individual, you know. Sometimes it's good for them to be out and about and actually maybe do some sports or something that they used to enjoy, you know, try to encourage them, you know. And yeah, continue to provide support for the person throughout this process, as I said, sort of thing. So this basically ends the tips and advice to look out for, as well as the stages basically of the cycle of change, which hopefully in this piece will illustrate more as well. Like, I hope to put some references in for you at the end of the channel, pretty much alongside with my contacts. Thanks for watching, guys. You know, give me the thumbs up for this and more videos that I've been, you know, creating right now, and hopefully subscribe to my channel and have a good day. The contacts are below if you want to message me, sort of thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.